Oh yeah, ready to get noob too? You can get noob right here. Got you.
Hey, ever heard of Splatoon?
No!
No? What about Splatoon Amiibo?
I'm playing Kai. What's this Splatoon garbage? I don't know freaking well.
Well, if you want to, you could order them at GameScrapper.
GameScrapper?
If you follow my profile on GameScrapper, which you should consider doing, then hey, you can go to my collections and find this game and even these amiibo. I have these lists that you can go to. In fact, if you follow me, I can actually message you back and stuff, and there's notifications, and the whole process is just great. Okay. Nathaniel Bandy. Striving for originality. This top 10 intro is brought to you by VectorStar Productions. Today's list of Splatoon weapons are my personal favorite. Listen carefully, favorite weapons. These aren't the best of the best. These weapons are just the ones that I like using the most, and I'll explain why. So without further ado, let's go! Number 10! So I'm not one to use snipers, I've always been pretty bad with them. I finally tried them out for a while in Splatoon, and I've grown fond of the custom E-Leader 3K. While it takes a while to charge a full shot, the range is incredible. I also appreciate that the special is a Kraken. That's definitely one of my favorite specials in this game. I'm not that great with this gun, but man, the feeling when you nab somebody is incredibly satisfying. Whether that be from a target that isn't paying attention or from someone that's weaving around you. The thing is, I'm not one to sit back and wait for my prey, metaphorically speaking. I like to charge head first and go all Rambo on the map. It's also really great that the sub-weapon allows me to spawn back to my sniping spot if need be. But yeah, don't expect any other snipers on this list. Again, these are my personal favorites, not the best weapons in the game. Get it? Got it? Good. Number 9! Oh, the Trislosher. Every time I think of this weapon, all I can imagine is the try-hard E-mode. You know, I actually saw Trihex at AGDQ 2016, but never got the courage to say anything to him. God damn it, I'm too shy. Anyway, I really love this slosher. The range isn't that great, but the sheer spread of the ink is insane. At short range, this weapon is killer and great for getting kills. You really don't need to be that accurate, too. The horizontal spread covers a lot of territory. Now, the sub-weapon does suck a lot. It just slows down players, which really isn't that useful. But you can't go wrong with the bubbler as a special. That thing is so fun to use right before you're about to die. It's always so shocking when you think you're about to kill someone, and then boom, they break out the bubble, and you're about to get pwned. I do wish there was a bit more range, since again, it is kind of short, but I love it regardless. It's also kind of funny how the design of the bucket has the indentations of splitting ink into 3, even though I doubt it actually work as planned. That's a theory that should be tested. Is it going to be Lockstint or MadPat that tests this first? Probably neither of them. Number 8! Do you remember when Splatoon first came out and everyone was just like, yeah, the Splat Roller is so OP, the weapon is so strong, blah blah blah? Well, that's not really the case anymore, but I still love the Kraken Splat Roller. This weapon covers a boatload, so it's perfect for turf wars. Now, getting kills isn't that efficient since the ink doesn't shoot very far when you flick it, but thankfully you have the Kraken as the name implies. Since the roller can easily rack up points, it's really easy to save up for a Kraken, easier than it is for most weapons. The sub-weapon is kind of strange for a roller, but it's still a good one nonetheless. I bet most people prefer something like a dynamo roller, but I've never been a fan of that one. It just doesn't feel right for some reason. Now, I know that doesn't make sense, but does it always have to? I think sometimes it's okay to have reason without logic. I don't see a point in using logic for every little tiny thing. The Kraken Splat Roller is just what I prefer. It just feels right, and that's all there is to it. Number 7. You know, the Splash-O-Matic looks like some sort of futuristic ray gun thingy that has the potential to shoot beams of light powerful enough to tear through steel. This is a very interesting shooter. It doesn't have a lot of reach, and the ink is released in a very narrow manner, but boy does it pack a punch. The Splash-O-Matic is pretty strong, and it works really well for close targets. I really love the inclusion of the suction bomb rush. It's so funny chucking the bombs everywhere and watching all my opponents just panic. I do wish that the Splash-O-Matic had a bit more range, then I'd probably call it one of my top 3 favorite weapons in this game. Number 6. So, when the Splatling was first introduced, I wasn't really a fan. I really didn't like how long it took for the gun to charge, and it just didn't work for my taste. But then I got a hold of the Zinc Mini Splatling. This is a gun that I can easily rock with. The charge time is way faster, which makes it easy to cover a lot of ground really quickly. The sub-weapon is a burst bomb, which is perfect for this kind of weapon since it's not the best for close range. It's also sweet that the special is the bubbler. You can literally be invincible with what's basically a death machine in your hand. That there makes me feel like Duke Nukem when he used to be cool. Forever lost, forever lost. What's nice about the Splatlings is that if you don't want to use the full charge, you can cancel it by simply turning into a squid. That way, you don't have to accidentally waste a ton of ink if you charged up for too long. I like to call this weapon fun size.
Number 5.
Oh, Nintendo, you're so clever, you. Just can't leave the 80s, can ya? The NZAP 89 is a long-range shooter that's a replica of the classic NES Zapper gun. You know what's surprising? I don't think they've included a gun that looks like the Super Scope at all in this game, or the Wii Zapper even. So I'm not gonna lie, this is on the list partially because of nostalgia, but just partially. It's a great weapon first and foremost. It shoots at a really fast speed, the range goes pretty far, and did I mention that it's based off the NES Zapper yet? So the special is an Ink Strike, which is always a welcome one to have, and the sub-weapon is the Sprinkler. This is a nice pairing because the NZAP doesn't have the greatest spread, but the Sprinkler definitely does. So if you're trying to cover a whole area with your ink, the Sprinkler can really help out with that.
Number 4.
And here we have the most iconic Splatoon weapon, the Splatter Shot / Hero Shot replica. I really love the design of the replica. The solid metallic colors give it a very customizable feel. This weapon has a really firm balance of power, speed in the ink shots, and range. It's definitely a great weapon for beginners, but it's also a ton of fun for more experienced players. Out of all the bombs that have bomb rush, the burst bombs have to be my favorite. And it just so happens that this weapon has that special. When you have bomb rush, you basically release instant explosions on everything around you. Now the burst bombs aren't that powerful, but they can be used to help distract players trying to take you out as well as splatting them. The sub weapon is of course the burst bomb, and it's again a great starting sub weapon. This gun just feels juicy to me. I can really feel a grasp even though I'm just holding a controller.
Number 3.
The sheer range of the .96 Gal Deco is nothing short of spectacular. Holy crap, does the ink go far for this shooter. Not only that, but the power of the blasts is ridiculous. I found anywhere from just 2 to 3 single blasts can kill someone, and that's it! What a good gal. Even the sub and special weapons are both excellent choices. The sub is the splash wall, which is perfect for defense while shooting someone, and then you have the Kraken as a special. Dang, what a combo pack. I'll take 3 with a Diet Coke to go, please. And I mean, just look at this weapon. It screams disco. Look at how sparkly and shiny it is. It kind of reminds me of the theming behind Electrodrome in Mario Kart 8. And yeah, I actually found a way to bring up Mario Kart in a top 10 that's nowhere near related. I think I should get some brownie points for that. The .96 Gal Deco takes some time to get used to, since it fires at such a strange rate, but once you're accustomed, you're pretty much set for life.
Number 2.
And here is where people are probably going to start disagreeing with this list, if you haven't already. The Neo Sploosh OMatic. Are you for real? That gun has no range whatsoever. Well, you're right about that. But remember, I love Splatoon the best when I'm really close to others. So for my playstyle, this thing is a beast. The damage that can be done is pretty high, and the spread of the ink is wider than you would expect it to be. The ink not only shoots straight, but also to the sides as well. This makes it easy to quickly spread ink everywhere, even though the range isn't all that high. And the special is even a Kraken? Oh man, it doesn't get much better than this. Well, it does since it's only number 2 on my list, but the only thing that kinda stinks is that the sub-weapon is just a point sensor, which locates where players are. I mean, that can be helpful since it's sometimes hard to see where players are hiding in the ink, but usually when you hit them with a point sensor, then they'll already know to not play stealthily. Stealthily? Oh my god, that's actually a real word? But what could the number 1 weapon be though? You got any guesses? Well, too late, you can't guess because now the number 1 favorite Splatoon weapon of mine. That sexy coat of gold. That 100% fastest freak fire rate. That spread. That awful range. This is none other than the Aerospray RG. Here's another weapon that a lot of the more experienced players probably won't agree with, but I've been using this one since the beginning and still love using it to this day. The damage that the ink does isn't all that strong, but since the fire rate is so incredibly fast, it doesn't even matter all that much. And on top of that, the sub and special weapons are my personal favorite. You got the ink mine, which is great for spacing out your opponents and throwing onto the tower and tower control to keep safe. And you also have the ink strike, which I think you all know what that is. This gun is definitely my favorite, and it's gold! You can't go wrong with anything that's gold unless it's... never mind. I hope this gun returns in the Splatoon sequel though. I actually predict Splatoon and discuss what new maps, weapons, and elements the sequel might have. Just click the card or the annotation. I also have a top 10 Splatoon maps which you might like as well. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment and tell me what your favorite Splatoon weapon is and why. Leave a like if you want, that'd be really cool, and hop on the bandwagon and follow my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr. Now, I know you're throwing a water gun party with some friends in a couple hours. Look, you should be taking a shower and filling your water guns up and preparing for all that, but maybe just watch a few more of my videos first. I mean, it's the weekend. You've earned it to be able to relax for a minute, had to deal with school and all that stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll speak with you all soon.